All right, so you're gonna make a line at the top of your paper. My paper is not straight. I cut it freehand, didn't do a good job. So I apologize that you see it's not a straight paper. But I made a line at the top of my paper. On that line, I am gonna measure 4 inches. And then every ½ inch, I wanna mark. Remember that when you're doing grid method, you must have light marks inside your grid. So this morning I was doing an example and I completely forgot and I was drawing really hard lines. If you draw hard lines on a piece of paper that has a grid that is meant to only be a guide, the grid is not actually part of your project. The grid is supposed to eventually be erased. So if that grid is not able to be erased because you drew really hard lines, then it's gonna affect your artwork quite a bit. Yes.
Oh, but then 2 inches from this binding. And
Yeah,
2 inches
that's
from
good.
This side of the paper.
Oh, it doesn't matter that side. Just give yourself some space from the side. Okay, so I have measured 4 inches across. Now I'm gonna line up my ruler on the left side. And you have already made a line that is going parallel to the side of your paper. I'm now gonna measure that line to make it 5 inches. If you look at where I've positioned my ruler, if you're having a hard time making a line that's parallel, first thing I did is I'm lining up the edge of my ruler with that top line. And then I'm going to make a line to the left. And every ½ inch, I'm making a mark. This is outside of where the grid will be drawn. Again, that'll be outside of where the grid will be drawn. And I'm gonna go down 5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. At 5 inches is your end mark. So I'll zoom in.
Here at the top, how many inches from the top?
4 inches at the top. 4 inches across. And 5 inches down. I apologize for my messy writing. And now I'd like to make a line that's going to go across the bottom. Before I can do that, I am going to lay my ruler at the top. And I'm going to put it on that 4-inch mark. And I'm laying out my ruler so it's on that top line. And I'm making a line that goes down 5 inches. I can go ahead and make my marks every ½ inch until I get to 5 inches. And then I stop. Notice that I'm making my marks outside of where the grid will go. Anything that you do inside this window must be drawn very, very lightly. And like I said, this morning, it was morning, I wasn't thinking. I started drawing and I was pressing hard with my pencil and those lines are not going to erase well. So I want to say it again and again. You will erase this grid if you still see it because your pencil marks are too hard. Then you've set yourself up for, I don't want to say failure, but your picture's not going to turn out as nice. All right, now I'm going to go ahead along the bottom. I should have a nice 4-inch line along the bottom. And outside of my grid or my window, again, I'm making a mark every ½ inch. Now, if you could check with your neighbor, and if your neighbor is struggling with where that ½ inch mark is, please, by all means, help somebody out. So I'm going to go ahead and check how this is looking for you after I put my attendance in, just to see if anybody else needs some help. If you do, I don't mind helping people with their grid.